Well, for me, my tips will be uh, don't be afraid, try to experiment, and know your interest because the content that you are creating will not just benefit you, but also benefit the people in the internet, the people who are reading the internet, because the information that you post will help adding more information. For example, I got I learned how to use the washing machine by a 10-year-old kid who posted how to use a washing machine on YouTube. Because to that, that 10-year old kid can do more. Even not just uh, showing how to use a washing machine. That's a good example. And that's the passion of the 10-year-old kid. Share some information, share the right way to use those machines, for example. And it's a very authentic and personal content. It's not for everyone, but it will help. Uh, it will help transferring the knowledge to people who are seeking uh, some answers to their question. For me, I sometimes I Google on how to tie a necktie, for example, because I don't know how to tie a necktie. Because here in the
Mm.
Philippines, we don't wear neckties.
It's too
I
hot.
only wear necktie. Yeah, it's too hot. We only wear neckties. There's a wedding. There's a formal event, and once a year I just go to Google or go to YouTube and learn how to tie a necktie. I just spend some 15 minutes learning from it, and yeah, because of those information are being created by individuals. People should not afraid to share. They should remember, uh, be true to themselves and not post fake news. That's one of my tips for them. They're going to create content for fake news. They should stop and just go to TikTok instead. They should
Just
dance,
dance.
dance all day. Yeah,
Just dance
dance
all
all
day.
day instead of creating fake news.
A Kangaroo Fern production.
Welcome.
To Guerrilla Podcast, Fresh Eyes,
The beat that makes you feel good.
a weekly podcast that features interviews with social change leaders or individuals that aims to bring audiences good stories to motivate their own social impact efforts. Now, here's your host.
Hello, Humanista. This is Miko Santos from the Side Strip, and welcome to another episode of Fresh Eyes. Today, we're still in quarantine, so so as a content creator, we have to do something that using our technology, as said before. And today, our guest for today he's been blogging for since 2003. He is the founder of Manila Bloggers Network, PB Network, and of course the Philippine Toycon. And in 2019, the most influential bloggers from Luzon in the Philippines. He has also appeared to different TV and radio station in the Philippines. So please welcome Azrael Coladilia. Welcome to the show, Azrael.
Hey guys, welcome and thank you for inviting me.
Can you tell us about yourself? Who is Azrael?
Okay, I'm Azrael Padilla. I live here in Cavite, Philippines, and I'm a content creator for 17 years, and it's my full time as a blogger, now a video content creator, or we call it a blogger. I'm also a social media publisher, and I organize events with the Toycon Philippines, and that's it. Shopee.
Describe how did you first get into blogging? So,
Okay. Okay, at first, some of my friends who are comic book artists, Jerry Alangilan, Ariel Atienza, Lyndon Gregorio, Jack Ting Lim, they are popular comic creators and artists here in the Philippines, I noticed that they are using this kind of platform. For example, like Journal and Blogger.com or Blogspot, they are creating. They created their own website through those platforms, and they write their their life. They post their artworks, and I'm very curious to try it because I'm also a website creator, developer, and I love publishing content and also creating news for, especially for, my interest is pop culture. It's all about comic books, about animation, gaming, about superheroes. So those are my interests. So what I did is that I created a Yahoo groups where I can write some news, post some photos. So it's like the first social media platform back in the days, the early I
Friendster?
think the early 2000s. Yeah, Friendster too. So that's one of my advocacy that time, creating pop culture news for Filipinos. And one of the best platform that back then is Yahoo Groups and
Yeah.
also Friendster. So when I learned about Blogspot or blogging, I thought to myself, I should try this because it's very easy. You don't need any special skills in developing a website, and the service is free. That's the thing that I remembered. Blogger.com live journal is free, so I took the advantage of their free service, and then I created my own blog site, which is azraelsmaryland.blogspot.com. It's my first ever, the one and only blog website for 17 years already. But that's the story.
Yeah. So, to our audience and listener, not everyone knows that Azrael got a degree in BS Math and ComSci in Far Eastern University. So, that's BS Math and Computer
Yes, Matt,
Science
yes.
in Far Eastern University, and now he is a content creator. Can you tell me some of your strength that really help you in blogging?
My strength. Well, I'm not a good writer at first, no, because writing is not my forte. I like, I like taking photos, telling a story, and then I enhance my skills in writing through personal experiences. So what I do is just write my story, what's happening in my life, personal life, what what are the foods that I like to eat, what are the favorite movies that I want to watch. Because of those topics, I discovered myself, no, I can write, I can tell a story, and then using my photos, uh, I can add more content to my story. So if you can see my blog, it's full of photos, a lot of storytelling, and people say that my blog is like a uh, virtual machine, for example, because country, I always post my experience, and people love the idea that it's like a virtual tour. Actually, many people notice that some of my content are like a virtual tour of a place or a beach or an island, because all of the content that I post on my blog are based from my personal experience. What I see, what I hear, what I smell, what I taste, I translate that into words and write a story in my blog.
So, what? How you describe your blogging style? Because a lot of people have a different blogging style. How would you describe yours?
Well, my blogging style is more very personalized writing style, because that's the easiest and the most fastest in writing a blog content. If I'm going to translate my personal feelings, my personal experience into words, that's the most easiest. That is the most fastest thing to do. And even though that I don't have any special skills in writing, I'm not a good writer. I I suck in writing English. So that's one of my problem, no. And but through the years, I learned many kinds of writing styles. I dedicate more time in editing those words. I consult with people if I'm writing the right words. And thank you. There's already Google where I can check spellings and other terms, because especially if I'm writing a content for technology, if I'm going to review a smartphone or a laptop, there are a lot of technical terms that I need to research and understand. But my readers are not an expert in understanding those technical terms. So what I'm doing is I translate those technical terms into much more on a layman's term. So I avoid the jargon terms, but I'm doing the layman terms, which is much more easier to understand. That's why my writing style are not that technical. I'm using the most simplified words because not everyone are easy to understand some English words, especially in the Philippines. Not everyone can understand those kinds of you know those words that those words that
Mhm.
are very hard to find in a dictionary. And but for experienced people, for them it's already a common term, it's a common word. But for others, it's hard to understand. So that's why one of my writing style is much more on a personalized style, and it's based on I write the most simplified words and terms.
What inspired you to start your blogging?
What inspired? Well, for me, it's my readers, because if you have already a reader, a daily reader, or whoever they are the most important part of my blog, because they're the only one who pushed me to this level to continue and search for more stories and the content to share in my blog. And because of them, there are times that I want to quit blogging, but people are requesting I should not stop, because they like what I share on my website and also on my social media platforms. Uh, and because of that, I studied more kinds of ways of creating content, so that my readers will enjoy more of what I share online. And because the internet landscape is changing, so I need to follow what are the new trends. And sometimes the technology itself inspired me to stay in this kind of field, because it's very hard to be left behind. And uh, I'm already doing TikTok, for example. So I'm exploring a lot of uh, social media platform on other ways of creating content. And because of my followers, subscribers, readers, they're the ones who inspire me to do more, and not step down or quit, because I'm already part of this content creation revolution. It's in already making it as an advocacy, as a creator, introducing good content for everyone. Especially today, fake news are already scattered around, and if we stop creating authentic content, fake news will win, and it will ruin our community, and it will hurt a lot of people. So as a content creator, we should step up, and because we have this enemy, fake news. So what we do is, as an advocacy, we create authentic content. That's why my readers or followers are one of my biggest inspirations. Everyone, not just my readers, it's everyone on the internet.
So you're saying about the fake news. Back here in Australia, we are very strict on fake news. We usually get investigate and then file some case. So in relation with the fake news right now in our situation, the COVID-19, that's what's happening. As a
Yes.
content creator and other content creator who's listening or watching right now, what do you think is the best option, or what is the best strategy to fight this fake news, especially on during this time right now?
Today, many people believe on fakes, but the most important thing is that if you see a fake news posted by, and you can report it right away. That's one of the most important things, that everybody should take action, educate the people, and also inform them. Be informed. Inform them that the content that they are posting are fake, and you support your content with sources that are posted by legit news agencies, for example, or information that are very accurate and very credible.
You said your inspiration is for your audience, so you keep doing your blogging, getting content creator, best content in your blog. So, what do you think is the best strategy that work well for you to get more traffic to your blog?
For me, because the content is being recycled by many people. For example, there are seasons that, for example, a new restaurant will come in here in our country. Because of social media, people are now creating their own style of content. And for me, if I'm going to do a same content, for example, and nobody will read my content because there are a lot of same content, replicate content, and it will lose some interest for the reader. So what I'm going to do is make a content that are, for example, if there's a new hamburger coming in, for example, a new kind of hamburger, for example, I'll just go to that restaurant and feature it in my blog. And I'll check if there's an interest to some of my readers, because that kind of food, for example, doesn't have any social noise. So I'm the one who going to create that social noise so that people will be informed. And then, well, if I get the, the luck, it will go viral, for example.
Mhm.
But for me, the content, if the content is very personalized, it's come from your heart, people will read it. It's not a shortcut thing where you just post photos from other people. You should produce your own content so that it will reflect that you are making your own personal story, for example, and that will interest the people, because your story matters. Your personal story will uh, bring more readers to your website or blog or social media platform, because it's authentic and it's only you who can create it.
What was your greatest failure, and what did you learn from that? So, when we're starting off as a blogging, sometimes we fail. On that failure, did you learn something from that?
Well, for failures, there's a lot of mistakes, for example. Right? For example, back then when blogging is in its own infancy stage, I've encountered that if I'm going to uh, give credit to people who are the original source of the information. Back then, we are so careless in posting or reposting some content that are from other website. For example, photos. For example, we just borrowed it and reshare it. We forget that it's very important,
Credit.
to to mention those source of information. And that was the biggest mistake that I've learned many years ago. For example, there's this Filipino programmer who created an antivirus for this virus in our computer. So what I did is that I copied his uh, technique, or how to download, how to kill the virus in your computer. So back then, I forgot to post the credit and source of information. So it looked like the content is coming from me. And then this virus programmer posted a comment on the blog and said that I should be giving credit. And what I did is that I posted his name, mentioned it's from that guy, and also posted a link of the source of the information where I posted in my blog. So it's very important you know, to credit the information so that it will not look like that the content is not coming from you, because every blog content that we post, we should be accountable. So we should be responsible. So everything that happened all into you. So we should be very, very careful in posting content. That's one of the another mistake is that sometimes I'm very careless and irresponsible blogger because I sometimes blogging is a diary. It's a personal thing, and blogging has changed its own way. It's no
Mhm.
longer just a blog or a diary. It's already a website. It's uh, a can full of information. So what I did back then is that I got this one mistake in posting very sensitive information about my life, and it already hurt some so many people. So through that, I learned that we should be very careful in posting, not very very too much information, for example, and we should check first if someone will get hurt. So that's one of the biggest mistakes that I encountered, and I've learned it, and I'm sharing it to everyone that they should be responsible and accountable in writing or posting anything on the internet.
So in the future, where do you hope your blog will take you?
I'm not sure. I should be. I was planning to retire last year, but I think I'm going to give 3 more years. Maybe if I hit the 20th year for blogging, maybe I should kill my blog or transform it to another uh, a title. But because I want to transform to another blog site that doesn't carry my name. It's Azrael's Maryland. It's a blog. Actually, it's a diary. It's my personal life there, and it turned into a commercialized blog site already. It's a blog site that I featured travel, lifestyle, food, and technology, and it's more mainstream. So if you go to my blog dating 2003, it's very personal. I'm very young, I'm very careless, and very adventurous person back then, and I want to leave that blog and create a new one. But many people are advising that I should not stop, continue it because my blog is already established, and I might get some problems with Google because if I'm going to create another one, it might create some confusion because it's me, and maybe some content might get duplicate. So what I did, I should continue using the same platform, and maybe I think after my 20th year, I should retire the blog already. Maybe in the future, I'm in this beautiful island, sitting, enjoy the sunset, sipping some yummy mojito. Maybe I'm not sure, but maybe in the future,
Maybe a
someone
digital
will take
nomad.
care of my blog. Huh?
Maybe a digital nomad, or you can work anywhere.
Yeah, actually, I'm already a digital nomad, but I'm thinking of uh, trying new things because there are times that in blogging I already lost my interest in continuing because I already got my success. For example, I'm receiving 1 million blog hits per month a few years ago, and for me it's a milestone. For me, the challenge already been uh, finished. And after that, there are no longer challenges. There are no more challenges. Actually, no more challenges. And I got lost some interest. I got lazy. I didn't get the time to write more. And after that, I lost some passion about writing or posting a blog because it's finished. I'm done. I'm on my decades of blogging, and I'm going now to my second decade of blogging. But I got this, you know, hunger for challenges where I saw, okay, vlogging on YouTube, okay, this is a challenge. This is a new challenge for me. So that's why I went to YouTube, created my YouTube channel, and I started vlogging because I'm already started vlogging since 2006, the year where YouTube first went public. I have some videos in my old channel, and through that I can see the ways of vlogging are the same. You talk to the camera, you tell a story, you edit, but the problem is that we have a very crappy camera back then. This point and shoot camera with a very bad resolution and also a bad audio. So it's very hard to, you know, to continue vlogging back then. So flashback to 2010, I learned that we already have a very fast and stable internet. We got smartphone technologies, doing a good thing on their camera. And yeah, I started a serious blogger 2010, and the rest is history. I'm still blogging on YouTube on my second channel, and it's doing good.
Do you say that from the content from the written blog, are you going to transfer to the video blogging, or you can still keep the content?
Actually, I'm doing both. I can't
Okay.
leave one. So if I have a written content on my blog, there will be a time that it should have a video content. That's why it's very hard for me to, to juggle all of the works, because I need to take photos, take videos. I should record myself, edit, and then post a blog post on my site. That's why I have already schedules that I manage. For example, in the morning, I manage my content, shoot, and record a video, and then on the afternoon I should be writing a blog post about it, and then on the evening I'll be editing videos. On the next day I promote everything on social media to showcase all of my works, because everything is comes from our heart. It's a labor of love, and I don't want to waste those works or those skills. No, I should promote it. It's a content that people should read or watch. So that's why I'm very present in all social media. I'm promoting my content creation nonstop. So that's why I'm doing both. But for blogging, I'm trying to go back to much more on personal, much more on a diary style, because nobody can write that anymore, because people are writing personal stories on social media, like for example Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. They post their stories there, and blogs of today are much more on the mainstream,
Commercialized.
so commercialized. There are no longer personal touch. So that's why my plan is, since last year, actually since 2 years ago, I'm inserting some diary kind of style of blogging in my blog. So if you notice that, it means that I sat around in front of the computer, typing nonstop, and then publish.
All right. So this is another question that you answer. Okay.
Okay.
Can you name some of your favorite bloggers and explain why they are your favorites?
Bloggers. Okay, it's very easy, because from the very start, one of the most influential person that influenced me to blog is my friend, comic book artist. His name is Jerry Alangilan,
Yeah,
and
I know Jerry. Yeah,
unfortunately he died last year.
last year.
Last
Yeah,
year,
last
right?
year, Jerry. Yeah,
Yeah, he died last
Comic
year.
Comicero.
I didn't Comicero,
Yeah.
Comicero.com. For me, he's my favorite, because he's the one who I saw that he blog on personal touch, and at the same time he publishes his works, his work in progress in drawing and in comic books. And for me, that's how blogging works back then. And it's like reading an open book of a person, and you learn many things about the person. Sometimes their words are very influential. You learn something. I'm not a comic book writer or artist, but through them, I learned something new. I started writing a comic book story. Actually, I already joined two of his Comicero anthology comic book. I contributed some comic book stories, and I saw it in a comic book format, and I'm surprised. Oh my god, I can do that too. I'm not a professional comic book writer, but I created a comic book based on my story. And because of that, it's the influence of the person, or the person behind those blogs that influence me. Not just Jerry Alangilan. There are a lot of names on the internet. There's also Ariel Atienza, also a comic book creator, one of the biggest influencer. So, kasi sabay sila eh. They are the first two that I saw blogging behind the computer, because Ariel Atienza has a comic shop, a computer shop in Mandaluyong City, and I always hang out there every day. And I saw him. He's very busy writing and then posting his artwork. So that's one of the influence that me as a sometimes an event organizer, I post work in progress or production blog, because I noticed that you can use blog platform as your journal in making projects. And a good example for blog is that Peter Jackson. Peter Jackson,
In New
the
Zealand,
director
yeah.
of
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised that he created the journal and a video blog documenting the behind the scenes of making the trilogy of Lord of the Rings. So to that, okay, the blogging is not just for personal stories, but also for your works, so that you can inform your fans, your readers on what you are doing.
That's correct. So another question I'm thinking right now is, because of the situation all over the world, the situation of the coronavirus, the COVID 19,
Mhm.
what do you think to insensitive influencer? So they making.
Yeah, it's a big debate. Recently, I we and some of my fellow creators are discussing about insensitive creators who are, they're not taking this COVID-19 seriously, and they have the luxury. Yes, they have the luxury to travel around, enjoy whatever thing that they do, but we cannot force them to stop. Cannot, because it's their life. We cannot do that. We cannot control it. All we can do is that complain or criticize them. And it's like when you see a bad example. Like for example, you saw a bad example. Don't be the next bad example, but be the good example. Diba? So what I can say is that, just let them be, let them enjoy. And if they get the virus, that's their problem. It's their fault because they're not careful. They're not following the government's request to stay home. Diba? So we just pray that doesn't happen to them. We just pray that they are fine. They bring joy and entertainment to their readers and viewers. And for me, I'm at home, so I just create content that I can do inside my home. For example, I just reviewing cameras, reviewing some technology. There is a time that I'm already cooking.
Also,
I'm
I saw
already
that. I saw
showcasing
that.
my yes. So I'm not sure for tomorrow. Maybe I'll be reviewing my washing machine. Just to keep me busy during this quarantine lockdown. There's no problem. It's just my joy in creating content, adding entertainment to my viewers. And if ever I got out, for example, I got a chance to get out, to walk around, I might get in trouble if I created the content. I should keep it to myself because it's very sensitive. People will get hurt because everybody is doing their part as a citizen, following the government's law or request to stay home. And if I join the bad example club, for example, it will just hurt many people. Not me, it will hurt many people because they will say that I went around very carelessly, very irresponsible. It will just destroy my credibility as
Mhm.
a blogger, content creator.
So we don't have time, and we got short time now, right now. So
All right.
can you give us help and tips for the people who is planning to be or becoming a content creator? what is your tips? Because you've been blogging since 2003. There's a lot of difference happening
Yes.
during that decade.
Yes.
So for people that is gonna start today, what are your help and tips to them?
Well, for me, my tips will be uh, don't be afraid. Try to experiment and know your interest because the content that you are creating will not just benefit you but also benefit the people in the internet, the people who are reading the internet, because the information that you post will help adding more information. For example, I got I learned how to use the washing machine by a 10-year-old kid who posted how to use a washing machine on YouTube. Because to that, that 10-year old kid can do more. Even not just uh, showing how to use a washing machine. That's a good example. And that's the passion of the 10-year-old kid. Share some information, share the right way to use those machines, for example, and it's a very authentic and personal content. It's not for everyone, but it will help. Uh, it will help transferring the knowledge to people who are seeking uh, some answers to their question. For me, I sometimes I Google on how to tie a necktie, for example, because I don't know how to tie a necktie. Because here in the
Mm,
Philippines, we don't wear neckties.
it's too
I
hot.
only wear necktie. Yeah, it's too hot. We only wear neckties. There's a wedding. There's a formal event, and once a year I just go to Google or go to YouTube and learn how to tie a necktie. I just spend some 15 minutes learning from it, and yeah, because of those information are being created by individuals. People should not afraid to share. They should remember, uh, be true to themselves and not post fake news. That's one of my tips for them. They're going to create content for fake news. They should stop and just go to TikTok instead. They should
Just
dance,
dance.
dance all day. Yeah,
Just dance
dance
all
all
day.
day instead of creating fake news.
So, to our audience and listener, uh, any shout out that you want them, invite them to your
Uh,
platform?
shout. Okay, shout out. Favorite ko yan. So thank you guys for listening to this interview and podcast. So I hope everyone in Australia are fine or okay. And okay. Don't forget to wash your hands, stay home, listen to your government, wear your face mask if you're going outside, and always think that uh, one mistake will affect millions. So be very careful if you are planning to go out. So I hope everything will be fine after the next month. And I'm sure all of you want to go to the mall, watch movies, meet your friends. Here in the Philippines, we are already uh, feeling some cabin fever. But thank goodness for internet. We can talk. We can do social events like this, and it's better than going out and get sick. So for everyone who are listening, thank you so much, and I hope you learned something well. And if there's another one, just contact me.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that, help and tips. Thank you for your time as well, Azrael. Thank you to
All
our
right.
audience and listener. So thank you. If you want to sponsor the podcast to continue whatever we're doing, just check us on patreon.com/kangaroo firm. And also see you next time again. See you next week for another episode of Fresh Eyes. Thank you.
If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe so you're notified when a new episode is posted in Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, Stitcher, or via RSS. While you're at it, if you found value in this show, rate and review this podcast and share it with your friends. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. And if you want to know more, check out kangaroofern.com.